Lios Enchim Anyavu. Greetings, everyone. May the Creator bless you all. And welcome to my podcast, the Good to E Medicine Podcast. I'll be your host, Pete Rodriguez. All my native people stand up. All my native people stand up. All right. Well, today, welcome to the podcast. Today we have Cesar Balgañon the second, correct?
Mm-hmm.
PGA. Well, I'll let you do a quick intro, but welcome to the podcast. Do you like Cesar? Do you have a nickname or is that good?
That's good. Yeah, I've been
Perfect.
going by Coach Cesar a little bit lately with with the kiddos and our junior league. But yeah, thank you
Okay.
for having me, Pete. I'm excited to be on here with you. Actually, it's been I'd say a goal of mine for a while to
Really?
connect with you. And yeah, I heard about your podcast, and then I heard Nicolette's with you, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's
She
a
was awesome.
mutual
She
friend
was.
of ours.
Yeah, that
Um,
was a really good podcast episode.
mhm,
But
totally.
yeah, I'm glad we could connect, and then I'm looking forward to this podcast. I've been reading a little bit about you, and I've been seeing you blowing up. Um, I think we met. We'll do a quick intro, but I think we met before. I've seen you do a couple of things on right there at the tribe. For the listeners, we're here in Tucson, Arizona. This is where the podcast is recorded and where we're at. Most of our guests are here. So Cesar's here in Tucson area as well. But we were met, not really met, but I saw you at one of our, I think it was a startup Tucson or something that Pascua Tribe was doing, and I saw you there pitching, doing like a pitch for just a startup. But after
With
that, there was no like contact or nothing. But then in the past several months, I've seen you, all over social media on LinkedIn doing so I remember I was seeing you blowing up all over LinkedIn, if you will. Cesar doing this, Cesar doing that. And I've seen you on social media. I know where a lot of people are talking about TikTok and stuff and doing videos and reels. And I was like, whoa, what's Cesar doing? He's doing a lot of stuff. He's expanding or growing his business or his name or his brand. That's another thing that's really important if you want to be doing entrepreneurship and things like that. But I think you're doing a great job at
I
that.
appreciate
But
that.
and just keep it going. And I said I gotta have this Cesar gentleman on the podcast because this is the it's health and wellness podcast, but also positivity, motivation, especially
Hmm.
for Yaqui, but not only Yaqui people, but all native tribes, native people. I want to get them motivated and get them out there and start doing things they probably never thought they could do or think they could do. And I like having people like yourself on here. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I saw you on there and I was like, I gotta have him on there because he's doing good stuff. Exactly what our audience needs to see and hear native people doing out there, doing their thing and starting businesses or whatever. But thanks again, Cesar. And before I continue and keep rambling on, I want you to do a quick intro, yourself, name. I know you're tribal, Yaqui. Maybe tell us your, I don't want to say origin story. It's kind of a cliche word, but maybe where grew up, things like that. Let us know, your audience, a little bit about yourself, actually, kind of. And also, I want to know how you got started in golf.
Oh,
Because
for sure. Yeah, I
for
love
me,
telling
growing
that
up
story.
near the res and stuff, it's like even in other native tribes, like native golf, it's
Right.
kind of foreign. It's like, I think.
Absolutely.
Did I say that right? You
Oh
look
yeah,
into
for
that.
sure.
But
I
anyways,
think that's a good word to use for sure, Pete.
yeah.
My name's Cesar Balgañon. I'm a Pascua tribal member, member of the PGA Golf Professional. I'm born and raised in Tucson and Old Pascua and still live in Old Pascua.
Mm, okay.
My journey with golf is pretty unique. I actually didn't start playing until I turned 20. So it's about 10 years ago, if you want to do the math there. But uh I grew up not liking golf. I mean, like you said, people that look like us didn't really play it, you know.
Right.
But my dad and Theo's always played. I grew up playing baseball. You know, I remember playing tournaments at Potham Park and all day tournaments. We traveled to Phoenix to go
Back
play.
then,
And
baseball was
actually
big.
just
Yeah.
played in the recognition. I think was it last year or the year before?
Hmm.
Baseball again, and man, I was sore. That was the first time in a long time we got back out there. But yeah, I grew up playing baseball. My dad and Theo's picked up golf a little later in life, and it just never really interested me. And I felt like I would tell myself I don't want to mess up my baseball swing, you know, which I ended up being wrong about that. They doing the going through the PGA training. There's a athletic development model, it's called,
Yeah.
and it proves that the more sports you play, the better you get at all of them. So when I turned 20, I wasn't playing baseball anymore, and I thought, you know what, I'll try golf out. Like it doesn't look that hard, and um, I'll see what all the hype's about, you know. And I remember I tried hitting a ball and I couldn't. Like I was taking chunks out of the grass. I was hitting the ball like on the ground, and I'm like, man, why can't I get this down? And I really just got addicted to how hard the game was. And
Okay.
you're used to seeing the highlights and the YouTube of like the best players in the world, and they make it look so easy. But then
Hmm.
I realized like they make it look easy because they've been doing it for a long time, and they're putting in the time and the effort, and they're getting instruction. They got access to like the best stuff in the world. But long story short, I remember practicing that whole summer. I got super dark. I was buying the wrong clubs. Like if I could, I always tell people that story because if I could start over, I would have got a
Right.
lesson from my local PGA pro, and I would have asked them all the questions like, "Hey, how do I get started? What's the best way to learn?" And they would have taught me more about my swing because I have that baseball swing. So when I hit
Hmm.
my driver, it just goes like that. It would go like that, you know. And yeah,
Same.
I started I was really addicted to the game and I told myself I gotta find a way because this is expensive, right? To play for cheap or like for free. And I
Mhm.
started looking into working at Sewilo. So that was about 8 years ago to this month actually. I
Well,
started at Sewilo as guest services, um, cleaning golf clubs, the customer service side of it. And I learned a lot there. And I learned about the PGA. It's called the Professional Golf Management Program.
okay.
And I got started with that about 2 years into my job there. And I wanted to be a PGA pro, and my goal has always been to be the general manager at Sewilo. So just to wrap it all up in kind of a summary, I worked my way up to be the assistant general manager at Sewilo. And I actually walked away from my position there in July. And that was one of the toughest decisions I've ever had, because I feel like I could have been there for a long time, but I
Hmm.
didn't have my degree, bachelor's degree in school. And I knew at some point that'd be something I have to do, you know. So that was what led me to my decision. I wanted to go back to school and I knew I couldn't do it with my job overseeing 60 people, three different departments. It was the maintenance staff, the food and beverage, and then golf operations. So um, I got my PGA membership in August, and I've been a PGA professional for a little over 6 years now. But yeah, I'm going back to school at the U of A. I'm super excited about it. I'm learning a lot, and
Nice.
with that, I'm blessed to be able to have a skill where I can teach the game of golf
Right.
and turn that into my business, and along the way, we started a PGA Junior League at Sewilo and
Hmm.
has grown to 45 tribal members, all on scholarships, learning the game of golf, ages 6 to 17. And yeah, if you're a tribal member, reach out to me. You can shoot me a text, shoot me an email, whatever is best for you.
Okay.
I want to get our youth into the game. That's my goal, and found myself in a space to be like a role model to the kiddos, Um, try and pave that road to be a PGA professional because it's something different.
Right.
and and I like it a lot. I'm around the game a lot, and I can teach it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and my journey there, Pete.
Awesome. Sounds good.
I try to not go on too much of a rant there, but there's a lot of stuff in
No,
between that you
that's
can tap
good.
back.
It's gonna and you want the teach the kids. So after the podcast, I am gonna put your contact information or just
Awesome.
share it with me and I'll put it out there on the show notes and stuff. That way they can give you a call or email, like you said, or just give me the number and email. Because it's we've been really lucky. The podcasts have grown a lot and we got like a global audience now.
That's
I
awesome.
just checked our stats and we're like at the top 10% globally as far as listen podcasts, which is pretty neat. I think it helps that we're on a niche for
Mm-hmm.
native indigenous tribes and they
Mm-hmm.
want they like the content. So I'm really happy and I want to thank all the listeners listening to this episode for
Absolutely.
for
And that's a
that.
lot of hard work, man. I know it's not just
Hmm.
recording and putting it out, it's
It
editing,
is.
scheduling, you got other things going on, and
Yeah,
how it is being an entrepreneur, all
it
them
is.
ideas come at you.
Well, you know it. Yeah, Nico and the people that I've had, that's I just love that entrepreneurial spirit and I've had it. My son, they want to start a little business and I told him go for it. It just could be just a little part-time business. If you would have known now, you would have done things different or something like that as far as learning golf and things like that. I know that's
Hmm.
another reason we have folks like you on, or even myself when I do my solo podcast, I'll let them know like, hey, when you're starting this company, don't make these mistakes. I like to share that knowledge because with other entrepreneurs, other people, let them know, don't do it this way or, this is a better way to do this. Whatever you're trying to do, saves yourself some time
Absolutely.
and things like that. Like, I had a question today. We're having lunch with my son, and another person wants to start a business, which I'm always like that. I don't know why I started liking like entrepreneurship and business and stuff. And they
Hmm.
were asking me questions like that. Yeah, if you get a home office, because they're going to start at their home, you can do tax write-offs on your office. You can
Absolutely.
you do the square footage on that office. You can write off the all of the your home office. You can write it off pretty much everything. The electricity that goes into it, the heating, the cooling, the space, everything. You can write that off, put it on your taxes.
Hmm.
Wow, that's awesome. And they were writing it down and stuff. So
That's
I
all
would
stuff we
tell,
had to learn the hard way.
yeah, because we didn't have that in school growing up. They didn't teach you how to become a business, how to do your balance
Right?
checkbooks and stuff, and all that stuff. I was just being a travieso. The teacher had me with a ruler back in the days, and bam, quit talking so much, Pete. For
Nice.
real, that's another story. But yeah, I'm aging myself. She used to get the ruler out and put your hands out and go, pat, and hit me with the ruler. And then the wooden paddles. But anyways, we're going off. That's showing my age, the wooden paddles. But so on that note, lessons. So I know we talked a little bit, but do you have any like maybe one or two? It can be also business related, or it could be just a life lesson in general. Do you have anything you want to share with the audience? Like maybe a life lesson. It could be business related as well that you want to share with our maybe with our audience, our listening audience, that something I always ask this of our guests because I want our listeners to, get inspired as well and motivated. But do you have any life lessons you want to share? Maybe one or two. It could be business also related that
Yeah,
you want to
I
share
think
with our listeners.
one that I think of, it could be pretty general, like with life and business, but
Mm-hmm.
um asking for help. There's so
Oh,
many people like yourself that you took it upon yourself to be a mentor to this young person that wants to start their own business.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like growing up, asking for help seemed like a sign of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
But you can cut your learning curve so much by asking people who have the things that you want, people that have done what you want to do. More often than not, then they're willing to share that knowledge.
Right.
That's a really big one for me. And I guess another one is, no one's gonna believe in yourself like you gotta believe in yourself. That's a full-time job in itself. You gotta be a little crazy to be an entrepreneur, Pete. I think you'll agree that
Right.
you see where you're at, what you have, and you see your long-term goal, and then the whole journey to get to those long-term goals is filled with a lot of ups and downs. Uphill battles and peaks and valleys. Like I remember getting my PGA membership. It took me about 6 years to get it. And I was fighting a lot of like self-doubt because there's people I know personally that started it and never finished it. And it's
Hmm.
a lot, man. It's, you know, work experience credits. I had to learn about cart fleet management, um, turf grass management, customer relations, and to be a general manager. There's so many facets of that.
Right.
But I saw my goals and I put up small goals to get through it. And for me, I see barriers to stuff like that, and I find ways to, pound through them, jump over them, do whatever I can. You got to think solution based. You can't think about what can go wrong because that's a that's a tough hole to dig yourself out of. So always believe in yourself and why you started something. Remember why you did.
True. That why is always a big one. I
Hmm.
explain, even at work, it's you gotta think of the why. Why are you doing this? Why are you at this job? Why you're being an entrepreneur? The
Right.
why, why you're doing whatever you're doing in life. That's a
Get
big
everyone
part
on
of it.
that same page, right?
Yep. A lot of people say it's their family. They'll show their picture of their kids, their spouse, significant other, their family. That's why I'm doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
The why. Okay. So yeah, exactly. Knowing the why of why you're gonna do a um certain thing in life. So I know I have speaking of mentorship, I have a mentorship program
Hmm.
that I'm going to facilitate at the tribe.
That's strong. I like
So
that.
I'm pretty excited. I've never done nothing like that, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to learn while
That's
I'm
awesome.
doing it. It's going to be for employees. So I'm hoping I can kind of like mm, kind of like teach that or do a template on that and share with people on starting a mentorship program and
Hmm.
going through it. So it's going to start in kind of like in March.
I
March.
was gonna say,
It's
yeah,
Yeah, so we're gonna start that. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll probably share
you'll be
that. Yeah, I'm
busy.
gonna take a lot of notes, take a lot of notes on my iPad and stuff and pictures, and I'm gonna share that experience and see how it goes. Kind of like a pilot program. And I'm gonna
That's awesome.
probably even podcast about it and see how it's going and what we do there with the mentorship program for tribal staff, and hopefully we can use that like a template for other tribes. So if they want to start a mentorship program as well for their employees,
Absolutely.
and so I'm excited. You got to be excited what you're gonna do. And I'm also starting a public speaking. Can you believe that?
Oh, that's much
The,
needed, man.
the
That's
shy
a
kid that from Eloy, me
tough skill.
that didn't want to raise his hand or do anything. And that
Right.
also with native kids or Yaqui in general, they have the we even talked about it with the other my other guest is um self-doubt is imposter syndrome. Like,
Mm.
I don't know if that's you experience that. Like, hey, these guys are over here. These gals are doing all this, and I'm
Hmm.
I why should I even be here or in this room with them or doing
Right.
these things that imposter syndrome sneaks in. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Look at my skin, brown. I'm tribal, but no, you got to work through all that. So I'm gonna use those type of story. Maybe even share some of this. You know what? That gives me a good idea. I just thought of it. I'm gonna share little clips of
Hmm.
the different guests that I have had on this podcast, including yourself, on little snippets, like a little reel almost, and bring it up and show it to our public speaking class or even our entrepreneur mentorship class and say, hey, look at
That's
Cesar,
awesome.
check out Nico, check out these guests that I've had. And look at their story. They
Hmm.
felt that imposter syndrome, getting in there and getting in your head mentally, like, can't do this or I shouldn't be here or things like that. That was a
Right.
big part with me, but now it's like you have to break through it. You
And
just
the
gotta,
only thing stopping you is you, you
it's
know?
you, right? You just gotta, yeah, it's fear as well. It's like you gotta just take a deep breath and know you're gonna do it. You might fall down a couple times, like they say, cliches, but you gotta keep going, keep going, just keep going, and just
And
to be,
I
be
think
free.
something that I see a lot too is, people get caught up in things that other people say or that other people think. But I always say to myself, what another person thinks or says about me is not my business, you know?
Right. Yeah, or when they hurt other people. I always say also when hurt people,
Mm,
hurt people. They have something going on.
hmm.
But that's a whole different topic. And that's
Right.
there's something going on with them for doing that, those type of behaviors. But
You know what I was thinking about, Pete, when I was looking at my calendar today, seeing that we're
hmm
jump on this podcast.
hmm
Really glad I got to uh show you Sawilo and
Oh
take a
yeah.
little tour of the place. I think that's
hmm
that's something I always tell people that I run into because we're like, oh, they'll see like me wearing something with the logo and like you work at Sawilo and be like, I'm Yaki, and I'm like, man, let me know when you want to come out and
Yeah,
get a
that was
tour.
fun.
Even when I would walk next door to the casino for like meetings or lunch or something,
hmm
I would talk to people and they'd be like, yeah, I've never seen Sawilo. I'm like, reach out. We got a little shuttle. It looks like a
Yeah,
little, you can check it out or
right.
jump on with little caritos. And I love telling people about the history, things that I've seen and experienced at Sawilo too. And it's a special place, man.
It
I
is.
always tell the kids that we teach, man, y'all don't know how good you got it out here. And
hmm
some of them it's the first golf course that they see, so that makes it a little tough because now their expectations are way up here, right? Because our maintenance team and they work hard to keep it in the shape that they do. So they go play like city courses and stuff, and they'll
hmm
come back to me and they're like, "Hey, Coach Cesar, how come that city course all their grass is dead?" And I'm
Oh,
like, "Yeah, yeah. I try to tell y'all like we're spoiled out here in terms of conditions go, but this is your home, so be proud of it and." With that comes responsibility too. When the kiddos come out, I tell them
right.
you got to keep it cleaner than our guests. You got to keep it looking as pretty as it does. No
Yeah, it's
matter.
beautiful. I caught for those of you that are listening, we did a tour of the golf course here in Tucson, and I had my three not 360 GoPro. I still
Hmm.
have that footage.
There you go.
I don't know if it's okay to post it. I was gonna do a YouTube video on it, or
Yeah.
maybe I can do. Then I was gonna wait for this episode to go out. Maybe I can do a combination
Yeah.
video, audio, definitely audio, maybe a little bit of video. I'm gonna do something cool. Watch, you're gonna like it when the final video comes out of
Yeah.
the
Put it out there.
little snippets, little things like that. Because it came out really nice. I looked at the and they'll get a view of going through the golf course. It's gonna be cool. You guys are gonna like it if you're
That's awesome.
watching this later on of the
Mhm.
GoPro going through the. It was a beautiful day going through the golf course, seeing
It was nice out. Yeah.
the nature right there. It's gonna look really nice.
I think what was cool too, Pete,
hmm
um, was us running into people that work there. Like Ramon Frias.
hmm
Like it's people that you and I know.
hmm
We just struck up conversations like nothing. That's why
Yeah.
I love being there so much because when you see your own people working there and just being happy to be there and happy to be outside, that's really special.
Right. That's what a lot of a lot of people that work at the tribe or because I do orientation for our tribe,
Mm,
the organization side, and with HR, and I try to explain to them, not the culture, but the culture of the organization, not the
mm,
Yaqui culture, but the culture of the organization that it's almost 80% tribal, tribal members working at this organization. They've been
Hmm.
there for 20, 30, 25, 30 years like us, like me. And it's like, it's different when you're working for your own nation, your own people, your
Hmm.
nana, your tata, everyone who works there like a family. It's different. It's not like working out there. It's different when you work here with the actual people, with
Hmm.
them, around them. It's different. That's why I've been there so long because it's special. A lot of people don't get that. So I try to explain that to them in orientation, especially people
Hmm.
coming from the outside world. Coming from the
Absolutely.
outside, I explained to them it's different here. It's just like a family, and also families kind of have little arguments and stuff, but it's still family. You're still working for your people. You're still working for the community, and it's your community, your tribal member here. So it's a special thing we have there. But yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's that pride of ownership, you know.
Hmm.
Um, to me, it brings so much joy when somebody gives me a compliment about Sawilo if I just run into them, in the golf world, even outside of Tucson. Like I remember I went to the PGA show in Orlando um in last January, and
Hmm.
then somebody noticed the Sawilo logo and they're like, "Hey, I love that
Oh,
course. It's awesome design." And I'm like, man, that brought me so much, pride of ownership and couldn't wait to bring that story back to the kids.
yeah, that's awesome. And you're in Florida?
That was in Orlando.
Orlando,
Yeah.
Florida, right?
I'm really lucky to have been out for the PGA show. So it was at the Orlando Convention Center,
Hmm.
1.11 million square feet of convention center space and over 1,000 vendors. So I remember walking around, we were doing like 19,000 steps out there.
I thought I went to a big conference. I went to a ADT conference in San Diego, and I was like
Yeah.
so tired. I was walking. I'm glad I took my tennis shoes, but
Yeah.
it was
A lot. And then you're networking, you're talking to people,
right.
you're inspired, you're excited, and then when you finally get back to your room, you're just like, man, that was a long day and I still got work to do, and
Was
we're
it
gonna do
a
it again tomorrow.
was it an international conference
It
or
is, yeah. People from all over the world
all
come
over
out
the
to the
world? Those are
PGA
special
Con.
going to those conferences.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are neat, really neat. The only thing I don't like about going to those conferences is flying. I don't
Mm,
like flying.
yeah.
It's
It's
the fun.
I hear you. It's like I always tell people it's like a first world problem, but it is kind of
Hmm.
convenient, it's scary, it's you're trying to make sure your flights connect and your time's all, but
Yeah. But
yeah,
you get to visit some really cool places and see and meet people, and it's really cool. I mean, I just don't. I'll probably
yeah,
go into a couple conferences this year. I love going to conferences and learning and networking and stuff.
that's
So
cool.
I went to a lot last year, maybe like five.
That's
So,
good. That's
but
good.
it's good. You invest in yourself. That's another thing that I've learned, and I try to teach the young people or people listening to the podcast. Biggest investment you can make is in yourself. Go to that conference, buy that conference ticket, buy that training, or something that's gonna elevate yourself or your business or whatever. You need to. It
And that
might be
that brought me to a thought, and I've always shared my gratitude with the casino and
mhm,
Sawilo Golf Club and how much they've invested in
right.
myself and our staff at
Mhm,
Sawilo, and for me, I feel like going the PGA route, we never really had anyone from our tribe that I don't think um went through with the professional golf management program.
mhm,
Um, but I took it upon myself and I looked at it like, how is this going to impact other generations?
right.
If I go about it and the tribe does support, the casino does support me and helping with the costs and sending me to the PGA show, I have to do I have to take it to my best of abilities so that
Right.
the next person can go, the next tribal
Mhm.
member. And man, I almost like shed a tear when my nephew a couple weeks back told me he wanted to be a PGA pro.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm like, all right, man, well we got a lot of work to do. You turn 18 in March.
I was about to
And
ask how old is he? So he's 18. Wow.
yeah,
That's
so that's young
that's
to get
awesome.
started, and that's awesome. I mean, I got started when I was 24.
Hmm.
So a little later in life, and there's so many programs out there that that wasn't an accredited university, so it was a uphill battle, and me getting all the documentation together, the costs, and kind of selling it like, here's the benefits, here's what can happen, and here are my goals. So um I'm glad I went through with it, and it goes to show these types of opportunities where this game can take you, because it's it's different, and when people see something different, they're not always quick to jump on board with it.
That's true. That's true. We talk about it in one of my groups and LinkedIn groups and stuff and other forums. I belong to a lot of forums, so
Hmm.
but people are afraid of change. You
Hmm.
know, they're afraid of change or they have that fear of change just in general, another job, another experience, another thing. And I always try to explain it to them as well. Like, get out of the comfort zone. It always comes up. Comfort zone, the magic happens. I don't know if you've seen that diagram. The magic happens out of that comfort zone.
That's the only
Just
way to
try it.
grow, right?
Yeah, there
I
you go. A little bit of little steps, a little bit. Just venture out, see how that goes. And
It's crazy how uncommon that is nowadays,
mhm.
right? Just
Yes,
those random conversations
sign of
happen
the
that
times.
way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because the wife, she's that type of person, type personality. I don't know what type that is, personality, but she is, that's what helps me a lot as far as business and our other company meeting people.
Mm.
No matter where you're at, what she's doing, where we're at, networking, businesses, anything, she's just like, boop, hey, what's your name? I'm Jovi. And she'll just talk to anyone, almost anywhere.
That's awesome.
Doesn't matter color, gender, anything. She just talks to anyone like she's known them their whole life. And when they're
Hmm.
done talking with her, they're like, God, I feel like I've known you forever. She's that
That's
type of
awesome.
person. So
Yeah.
I take some little lessons from her, but I'm like, hey, she's my secret weapon when it comes to networking or
There you go.
events like that. Even though I still get shy and I don't want to talk, and I get that, hey, Joey, come here. Go say hi and introduce everyone. And she'll just go and talk to everyone,
Yeah.
and I'll have to, hey, it's time to go now. She'll just stay, but
Well,
she's like that. You got to meet her one of these days. She just talks to anyone. Hey, boom, she's gone. My son's
absolutely.
like that too. So we got that from his mom. So,
Absolutely.
but anyways, let's see. We're on 40 minutes. Can you believe that?
That
Time
went by
flies.
quick, hey, I just had an idea. I want to invite you and maybe your wife to come out to my networking events
Oh
that I
yeah.
host at a place called Arizona Golf Exchange. So I teach there too. It's got indoor golf simulators, and I do 5-minute lessons there.
I need
So
some lessons.
yeah, there you go. Well, we
Oh,
we got all the equipment that you need there, and then it's just a networking event. We invite about 12, 14 people that come out. We provide water, and then my girlfriend lately has been making agua frescas for it too,
oh,
which is
nice.
pretty cool. But it's awesome. The 5-minute lessons from me helps me build on my clientele, and
Hmm.
um I think it's a little different from other networking events because it's not just talking to somebody. It's swinging the club around, learning a new skill, and
Yeah.
for people, it's knocking two birds out with one stone, networking and also learning the game at the same time. Because with the game of golf, there's so many networking opportunities. You always hear that old adage, 90% of business deals happen on the golf course, something like that. I don't know how accurate that number is, but it's true. You get to know a lot about somebody after playing a couple holes or around.
Find out where to go. So,
For sure. That actually, that's an interesting thing to bring up because at Sawilo we teach a
mhm.
class called PGA Hope, and it stands for Helping Our Patriots Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we go through a training in adaptive athletics.
Mm,
So
okay.
we teach disabled veterans a game of golf. That's
Oh,
so
yeah.
wild. And it's a nationwide program, which is really cool. Um, but we would go to our training and they'd simulate for us sitting down on a chair and teaching
Oh, yeah.
somebody who would be in a wheelchair how to swing the club, or if someone's missing a limb, how to teach person that that is blind as well. They put goggles on our face where we
Mm-hmm.
can't see, and it helps a lot with the perspective. Like if you are blind, then you got to be an auditory teacher.
Right.
If somebody is deaf, they put earplugs in our ears too.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be completely visual with the way that you teach the game. So,
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. That's the only
mhm,
way you'll be able to teach if you actually simulate it. Real world
mhm,
based training, and I
exactly.
call it RSBT. There's a acronym for real world based training. You have to like just like police, they have to go to active shooting training, they have to do this and actually simulate that training. It's the only way you're gonna know how it actually feels. So that's cool. I remember
There's
when
some
I
powerful stuff going on in the golf world. So,
that's cool. That's I
it's
like that.
part of it.
Yeah. So when I see you over there, I'll let you know what I cannot do.
Okay.
I can. There's like a movement, and it won't. I can't follow through with the swing, like to see to do those cool little golfing shots. But when I no,
Yeah.
I can't do that. My leg will
I
not bend that way. I'll have to stop. Maybe I won't be able to do a full on swing. It'll have to be maybe like a. I don't know how to explain it.
That's all right.
Instead of doing 100%, I can probably maybe do 70, 75, and I have to stop. I definitely won't have to turn my leg a certain way because it just won't
Mhm.
turn. If I do, I might hurt myself or injure myself.
Yeah, and
So
that's what you don't want to do.
yeah.
The thing I started incorporating sunset training
Hmm.
into all of my lessons, even us, like the younger juniors that I'm teaching. Hey, is there any physical limitations that you have that I should
That's
know
good
about
to
before we
ask.
start with
Yeah.
our lessons? Because I definitely don't want anybody getting hurt
Right.
through through a game that's supposed to be enjoyable.
But I definitely want to get on the golf course. I think it's beautiful out here. I haven't been to Southern Arizona um
Mhm.
during the spring, not too much in the summer, even though I've done some events in the summer, it can be brutally hot. You got to be
That's
careful. I've seen
crazy.
people golfing at 105, 110.
Yeah, being the assistant GM at Sawilo, I've definitely seen a lot of things, and some of them, um, in the summer, lots of heat strokes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, we got to call the paramedics, have them out, make sure
And,
somebody's good to go, and
but
yeah,
yeah,
that's
but
scary.
they're out there. I'm like, that's hot.
Mhm.
That's super hot. Even but I think we're gonna wrap it up, Cesar, because we're almost at. I like to keep our podcast, within 45 to an hour interview podcast, just to for people can can listen, on their way to work, or if they're on the way to a conference or on a flight. We'd like to keep them. Plus, our guests, they can really
Absolutely.
thank them for coming on the podcast. So we're at 47. So, is there anything I missed or anything that you want to add or share with the audience?
I think just final thoughts,
Yeah, final thoughts or
two things
anything?
to connect. Like we
Okay.
talked about social media at the
Hmm.
beginning, and then you talked about getting out of your comfort zone too. So
Hmm.
that one for me, I feel like I never really was into social media growing up, even though I was like, been around that age where MySpace for me was like in middle school,
Hmm.
but I never really posted a whole lot or, updated in that sense. And um, if you're not online, you're invisible nowadays. So
Hmm.
getting out of my comfort zone, that was one of the last things on my checklist is to do social media. And I'm super blessed at how much it's grown and how strong the golf community is online too, because started this thing in, the first week of October, I think is when I established my Instagram. Um, TikTok, never thought I'd be 30 years old making a TikTok, but um,
Yeah.
that's a hot topic right now, right?
Right.
TikTok, I think right now it's at 8,800 followers, and then on
Mm.
Instagram, 5,600 followers.
That's a
And
lot.
that was a lot of help from my nephew and just getting perspectives from other people, But
Mhm.
really just staying true to myself, like putting stuff out there that I get to do and be a part of with golf. And I guess people want to see it. So it's been pretty cool. And
Mhm.
I think it helps me connect with the youth too, the kiddos that we teach, because I learn about the things they say. And, they're like, hey, did you see this TikTok? You see this meme and stuff. So it's been a pretty fun journey, but I really want to see how far we can take it. I'm working on I've got a business partner right now, and we want to open a indoor golf facility. So, shooting for this fall. So hopefully that's something that, everything goes well. And it's exciting times for sure. Lots of opportunity that our tribal council is creating for us, and
That's true.
that the new casino is going to bring. And I'm all about paving that road. We want more Yaqui entrepreneurs, and we want to be mentors to them too, right, Pete? Like you said, I mean, you're taking that initiative to a whole nother level. So that's awesome. And I want to help out as much as I can, if even if it's just you want to run something by me, and we'll bounce back ideas, or if I can help in any way, I'd love to.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's all about, like you said, networking and like-minded people, people that want to succeed and will also help. You know what? That brings me to another thing I wanted to share. Part of the mentorship program.
Hmm.
It's a model that actually I did a diagram. It's a model that I'm going to show our mentorship mentees, even our mentors.
Hmm.
Like different phases in our lives. We become or we be. I broke it down into small. I saw it somewhere, but
Hmm.
we first we become, then we do the thing we have to do, like work and you know become adults. Be do then we have all the stuff. Then after we're doing everything, we have everything um that we need. We get a house, a car, or we have all the be, do, have. And the last part of it I was going to say is share. Then we share
Hmm.
our knowledge, then we share what we learn. We can be,
Absolutely.
do, then we have everything, and we show people how we did it. That's what I'm doing for the podcast. I show them, then we share it, and then it just comes back to you. People don't realize that. A lot of people don't just they just don't want to share that knowledge. They don't want to share what they learned and stuff, or for free.
Yeah.
Be, do, have, and then you share. But that's one of the things that I'm going to use, kind of like a framework. But so I think that's going to bring it to the end. We're going to close. Definitely, you can come back on the podcast and let us know how your other little ventures are doing. Let me know how that's going with the um indoor facility you said.
Yeah. Indoor golf facility. Hmm.
It's gonna be sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunities coming up um for the tribe, for us. We just gotta believe and just do it. Don't
I
be
think it's all about not feeling entitled to anything either,
mhm.
because it's one of those things that you can get wrapped up in, putting all your eggs in one basket, you know? And sometimes to get to your goal, you can't just rely on one thing to get there, You gotta see what kind of ventures are out there. You gotta see what kind of capital
I
you can
just
take.
talked about that. You think alike. I just talked about it literally this morning in my other podcast.
Hmm.
Word for word, putting all your eggs in one basket. You
Hmm.
know, you have to
You gotta plant seeds.
mhm,
And some of
mhm.
those seeds that I've planted allowed me to present to tribal council and economic development my plans with golf businesses I wanted to start, a couple times with the previous council, hopefully this council sometime soon as well. Um, but something I said in my presentation is I don't want you to think I feel entitled to anything, but here's my journey. Here's the work I've done. If you think that it's a good idea, then I'd
Hmm.
love for the tribe to be as much a part of this as, or be a huge part of what I'm doing. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, we just got to keep it going. Like I said, see how far we can take it.
true. And don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
diversify, do different things here and there. Last question. I asked this of pretty much all my guests. What would they say if, how do I put it? I already forgot. So if they Googled someone in the future, way in the future, 100, couple hundred years ago, 100 years in the future, if they Googled your name, Cesar, what do you want that Google search to say? In just in a few words, who he was, what he stood for, what he contributed, just in your own words, just really quick, and then we'll end the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah.
Like if
I'd
they
hope
Google
that.
my name, Pete C. Rodriguez, Tucson, Arizona, DJ company, blah, 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 you want them to, this is what they're going to say. This is what that's going to search, like Wikipedia. Oh, okay. That's who he was.
Mhm.
Just really quick. It doesn't have to be in depth. What do you want? Maybe in a sentence or two.
Yeah, I'd hope first thing that they'd say is he's a family man and um
It's good.
entrepreneur, pioneer for golf in the Native American space specifically.
It's good. 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 Awesome. All
Thank you.
right. So
Pete,
it
it's
was
been fun,
awesome
buddy. Thank you
talking
so
to
much for
you.
having me and
I'll
the
definitely,
opportunity.
yeah, I'll definitely go to the networking event and I'll add all of that information
That'll be
on the
fun, yeah.
podcast notes and social media handles, everywhere they can follow you. I usually add all of that to the podcast notes at the bottom so they can follow you on social media. Hopefully, you'll gain a bunch of followers again. On
Hopefully.
your contact information if some people want to connect or network or maybe do some projects or something with you, and
For
also
sure.
the networking event here in Tucson. But other than that, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for
Awesome.
having me. Pete. Always great talking to you and love to stay as involved in our projects as
Yeah.
we can.
We'll talk after the podcast too, and we'll chat, get some coffee or something.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
definitely
awesome.
interested in those other projects as well, if
Absolutely.
I can help. All right, cool.
Thank you, Pete.